Hi guys, so today I'm going to explain the easiest way to do this illusion. So you're just going to start off by making your first line, and we're going to go to 6 centimeters, and then at the 3, let's just put like a little dot here so that we know about where our center is, and just to give us a little bit of a guide. And now you're going to want to do another 6. Go from your corner all the way up until your guide to your center, and you're going to do your line at 6, and the same thing on the other side. So that is supposed to be about a perfect triangle. Now to do the sides, it's going to be really easy. You're going to line up your ruler here, and you're going to count to 2. Okay, so you're going to put one line here, a reference on the 1 and a reference on the 2, and you're going to do that on the bottom as well. 1, 2, and you're going to do this on every side of your triangle. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you have all these little dots. What you're going to do is don't stop your line at the dot. You have to get it to keep on going. Just don't press too hard, because after you're going to have to erase these. So you're creating these guides, and you're going to do the same thing. Make sure that they go further than they need to. Okay, so the reason why I had you go further is because we needed these guides. So on the top, where these 2 lines meet, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw a line there. On this side, the same thing, where these 2 lines meet and these 2 lines meet, you're going to make a line there. Same thing on this side, where the lines meet. You're starting to get the drift. You're going to make a line there. Okay, so now we're going to go and we're going to erase these, just not to confuse us. So anything after these lines that we did. So we erased that one, and we erased this one. And I'm going to go over the lines. So follow along with me so that you don't put a line where you're not supposed to, because then after that, you're pretty much done for if you mess up this part. So I had one line going down like this, and you're going to do another line going down here. We can complete this little section right here. I'm going to do the bottom like that. This line from this little dot all the way to the top. We're going to do this outside line right there. I don't think we did the top line. You're going to take your darkest Ohuhu marker. I am using WG090 for the darkest color. Again, this is where you don't want to go too close to your lines. So you can start off a little further and then going in closer, because it will bleed. Depending on the paper that you use, some cheaper papers are going to bleed even more. So you really want to be careful. So see how I'm not even taking it to the edge, and it's already going so close to the edge. If it does go over, I'll just make a thicker line afterwards. But let's start with this, and we can redo our outlines later if we have a problem. I'm trying not to press too hard so that I can avoid some of the bleeding. Don't take too long, because then you're going to have those marker marks. The ink chasing, I think that they call it. I'm gonna turn this guy around so that I can color him in easier. Again, I'm gonna go through with a thicker outline afterwards, just to complete this properly and neatly, since I can't get too close with my alcohol markers. So now we're gonna do a little bit of shading and blending. I'm gonna start with my 70. In this inner corner. This is gonna be a little bit harder because when you blend colors, you're putting a lot of ink and it might end up bleeding a little bit more. I'm gonna have to work pretty quickly try to make this shading work. Notice I'm mostly shading right in the middle. I'm not doing it in the edges because I'm afraid that that'll make it bleed too much. Which is what happened right here. That I wanted to avoid, but we'll try to fix it afterwards. All right, so let's go in with this little guy here, a bit more. For this area. And this little area, we're going to use this light one too. And my lightest gray here that I'm actually going to let just go into white and just stay white. And I'm going to put it on the top just a little bit here because I want these parts to be really, really light. Now we could try to fix this with our colorless blender to try to push the ink away. I'll go ahead and do that later. But right now I'm using it here just to try to get this shadow to end a little bit more naturally. Same thing here. I'm just lightly going in there. Now let's see if we can fix this by pushing the ink back towards there. If it doesn't work, we can go ahead and just hide it with a white acrylic marker or a jelly roller. Because you don't want that to stay there because it'll mess with the illusion. There's not supposed to be a shadow in there. But that did get rid of it mostly. Enough that we'll be able to go and completely fix that afterwards if we really want to. I'm not doing it in one step because if I put too much of this, it's really going to spread into that. As you can see, is happening here. See how that happened? So an easy fix is just to go back with my lightest color and to pass over this whole area again to fix that issue so that we don't see that little line there anymore. I'm not going to go too close to the edge because I'm going to end up just fighting again with my ink. But see how that resolved that? And you have no choice but to go over the whole entire thing because otherwise you're going to create a shadow in one area that is darker, and that's not what we wanted. I want to just make this one just a tiny bit darker in the corner. I'm hardly even pressing. See how that helped that? Just do the same thing here on top. Just a little bit darker. So now let's just go and fix our outlines. So let's go and give this guy some nice thick outlines so that we have a nice clean finish. The lines do have to be nice and clean, otherwise it does mess with the illusion. The cleaner your lines, the better the illusion. So it's worth going at the end and fixing these up. It's gonna look much better. Okay, and now we're just fixing the little boo-boos with our white jelly roller.